but at least they're moving in the right direction. And the other positive thing is that it's the community. It's a community effort and a business effort and a union effort. So we're not outside of the discussion. We're in the middle of it.
And another point, I'm gonna have you ask your question, but another point here, because we're so embedded in, we want to maintain teachers. We want to recruit the best teachers we can. We know folks they go all over the country to try to get teachers to come to Maryland. And so, we've even convinced the governor, our former president is the governor's main person, who's their education contact person who reached out to all the other stakeholders. That's how important we think it is to make sure that we aligned not only with the school districts, but with the governor's office. Because obviously most of the money will come from the governors, from the state. And so we need to have a relationship with the state as well as with the school district as well as with Dr. Nancy Grassley. So we have our disagreements, but we have.
Just let me interject before you take a question. I sit on a state committee called AIMS, Achievement Initiative for Maryland Minority Students, and we are currently looking at the governor's report on teacher shortage and recruitment, but we're looking at it from the point of view of how to recruit more minority teachers, etc. If any of you want that report, we can make sure that you get it. It's probably on the SDE website. If not, we have access to it. Want to see it? Frankly, I don't see anything new in it, but anyway. Haven't been here for 37 years. I don't see a thing that's new in the report.
I can find the new stuff for you.
Okay, that'd be
I'll find
helpful.
it.
That'd be helpful. But it is, a lot of it's tied to money, and consequently, not sure much is gonna happen with it. I did have one question I want to ask you, because we see a lot of teachers coming back with master's degrees, and you were talking about pay for updating your skills. Does the union have anything to do with the fact that different school systems have such different mechanisms for reimbursing teachers who take courses and things like that? Some to the extent of almost being punitive or not worth the teacher's time to take, because they get a fourth, a fifth, or whatever reimbursement rather than full reimbursement.
Good question. We go back to Maryland as a state again, and since local autonomy is so important to Maryland as far as the counties are concerned, we negotiate countywide, and we have to negotiate contract by contract. And what you may get here in Prince George's County, we may not be able to get it in Montgomery County or in Howard County or so forth, because we have to convince, and we always try to convince, that I see new teachers coming in, even bachelors, and they owe so much money. I'm thinking, geez, when I was in school, that would have bettered me. But they're coming in, so they need help. They really want to stay in the profession, and they need additional assistance. So we push. Some school districts see that as a benefit, and some say, I don't think it's that big a deal. Some will say, I'll pay you dollar for dollar, I'll match your dollar. Some will give them more, some will give them very little. Some are so progressive, and Frederick County, for example, will pay its education support personnel. If you want to go if an individual would like to go to college, they will help them. And they'll help that individual to go through the process. If you want to become a teacher, if you're an instructional assistant and you want to become a teacher, they'll help. So they see the benefit in homegrown folks, because most of our support employees, they're from that county or adjacent county, and they want to homegrown them because they figure they'll stay. Now, some of the Eastern Shore counties will do things like that. They want you to stay in the Eastern Shore, so they'll try to pay as much as they can. Well, they have another mechanism. They say if you come there, they will try to marry you off. So you're married to a local, and then you'll stay. But that's another, we have to do it county by county in order to get that. And some are not as amenable as others in seeing a benefit of getting a master's. And some believe that all teachers should have a master's degree. So it's,
Do most of them have reimbursement up to 9 credits, I think?
yeah, I think some has, I think up to
Up
9
to 9
credits.
credits.
Up to 9 credits. Some are very, they put a lot of money in the process. And some, it's first come, first serve.
Right.
So, which is very punitive to those, especially the new teachers that are coming in, you don't know the process. And by the time you contact them, the money's out. And so we always have a fight at bargaining about that. And sometimes we can convince some board to come up with additional money because they do have discretionary funds. And not because we're done with bargaining, that doesn't mean that we don't continue bargaining because we want to maintain that continual relationship. You just don't bargain a contract and it's done. We have a continual relationship that we have to maintain. And sometimes we can get additional money from the board or from the superintendent's discretionary fund.
I think we have time for maybe 1 or 2 quick questions, and then we'll call it a night. Any other students have questions? Marshall, what you're thinking?
Yeah, you mentioned that there's a process for this slacking teacher, and if the administration follows the procedure as written, it will eliminate that slacking teacher. But how long is that process?
Well, it depends. You want to jump? You want to take that? Okay, that's what you want to take it. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's about time.
Yeah.
And what Herman said early on, it really is about the process. We have no procedure that allows us to, or even affords us the luxury of protecting bad teachers. So if you are, in the state of Maryland, if you are a first year or second year teacher, non-tenured, the observation is going to start the minute you hit the classroom, and minimally a first year teacher should be observed at least 4 times. So if the principal is doing, along with the instruction supervisor or curriculum supervisor, if the principal's doing their record keeping all along, suddenly it's, well, I guess therefore that may not be a good example, because in Maryland, under the contract system, if you're non-tenured and you're on a regular contract, those contracts will renew themselves unless either one of you give notice. But technically, you were hired in August. By January, the principal could have enough information in hand to start the process of saying that you're not meeting your job expectations. And so the one protection that teachers have afforded to them by state law, COMAR, is that the principal cannot be the sole deciding factor. You must be observed by at least three people, and you have people outside of the school, outside that building, who are going to come in to observe you. Not going to be the superintendent, but it'll be someone else. Now with veteran teachers, before they even move to that step, most veteran teachers are put on improvement plans. And
Yeah, I was thinking about veteran teachers.
yeah, veteran teachers are put on improvement plans that hopefully the veteran teacher is given the opportunity to have input, rather than somebody writing it up and say, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there should be periodic checks along the way. And I guess sometimes what happens is that veteran teachers aren't always aware that they can ask for help themselves, which comes from outside the building. But that may take a year, but it's probably better for the veteran teacher, because you're giving them the opportunity to demonstrate, I can do this job with the appropriate supports, resources, and whatever. Yeah.
So isn't that the union help
Well,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
give you an example.
Yeah. Right.
Montgomery County is a PAR program where you are reviewed also by your peers are there as well. You invest in an employee as Montgomery County Board of Ed, you're investing in that particular employee. So you could want to dismiss the employee quickly, or more likely than not, you're going to see if you can work with the employee to get the employee where you want the employee to be, because there's already an investment there. So they'll go through the process, and they'll go through the process, and then they'll, then ultimately, if the person doesn't meet those standards, then the person will be dismissed. But there's an investment there. Now, when you're talking about issues, because if you're dismissed or disciplined, when you're talking about issue of performance, that's the process. if you're talking about someone who, child abuse, for example, you're out. Yeah, it's not a long, drawn-out process. Or they may yank you out of the classroom, and put you elsewhere.
They'll put you in
And
a
put you
curriculum
elsewhere.
and instruction office.
Well,
That's-
in Baltimore County, for example, they put you go stack books and so forth.
Right.
And they put you in that process until you go through the interviewing process. In Maryland, it's different than in other states. Other states, you're gone. They speed up the process. So that's it.